We have a loaded show on tap for today's Golden State Warriors today. Here's everything that's coming up. Is Jonathan Kuminga the next Jaylen Brown? We have new rumors on Chris Paul. Is he going to stay or go? And a new Ringer NBA mock draft. Who do the Warriors get in the second round of the 2024 NBA draft? But first, Celtics today told us that we could not get 250 likes on a single video. I think that's ridiculous. That's blasphemous. The Warriors, by the way, beat the Celtics in the NBA Finals a couple of years ago. And Warriors today over Celtics today, as far as channels here at Chat Sports, it ain't even a contest. The Warriors might not be playing in the NBA Finals, but recency bias says Golden State's been a better squad. Let's be the better channel, get the bragging rights on our side here on Warriors Today, and hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. Is Jonathan Kuminga the next Jaylen Brown? We start there for today's show. I'm Chase Sr. Thank you so much for tuning in. Coming out of the draft, when he was playing at the G League level, I had said that Jonathan Kuminga reminded me a lot in the early process, the college version of Jaylen Brown. Very similar athletes, similar games. Jaylen Brown coming out of Cal, very raw, young in his basketball development. Jonathan Kuminga from the G League level hadn't played a lot of basketball. He too was very raw, but very, very similar athletes, similar attributes. And I looked at the ceiling for Kaminga as very similar to Jaylen Brown. So I drew that comp. Now, Jaylen Brown has turned into an all-NBA player. He's really good on both ends of the floor. But his production, Kaminga's, has mirrored Jaylen Brown's third year. And that's why this is starting to garner a lot of conversation and talk across NBA circles here. Maybe they just watched Golden State Warriors a few years ago and said, that Chase Sr. guy, he's really smart. He was ahead of the curve. Maybe I was. We'll certainly see, and time will tell. But look at the numbers here. In year 3, Brown was starting to come along nicely in his development alongside Jason Tatum. And in his third year in the NBA, 2018-2019, he played just under 26 minutes per game, averaged 13 points per game, 4 rebounds, assist and a half, 46% from the field, 34+% from three-point range. And then you look at Jonathan Kuminga this past year. Numbers as far as minutes, very similar. 3 more points per game. Rebounding numbers, right on par with each other. About an assist more. The field goal numbers, better from the deck, a little less from three-point range. But with Jonathan Kuminga, you saw a confidence leap in between his ears from year 2 to year 3. You saw the game slow down offensively for him. And then defensively, you continue to see these flashes of brilliance in which maybe at some point he can become an all-NBA type of player. I'm not saying it's a guarantee that Kaminga becomes the player of Jaylen Brown and who he is today, but the numbers, intangibles, the skill sets, they are certainly there. And Kaminga at least has that potential. And it was really important for him to at least unlock a little bit of that potential this past year to give the Warriors hope of what he could become if he continues to streamline that development. And in the early stages of both of their careers, Jaylen Brown, 6'6", 220, third overall pick, athletic finisher. He can guard multiple positions, right? Had issues staying consistent, under control, still has some issues in dribbling with that left hand. Jonathan Kuminga, 6'7", 225, also the third overall pick, athletic finisher, who can guard multiple positions. Issues with floor spacing and consistent offense. His handle can get a little bit loose, and his shot, the consistency of it, it can wane a little bit. 3-and-D wings, though, some of the most valuable assets in today's NBA. At the NBA trade deadline, teams are always looking for 3-and-D wings because they know they need that type of player when it comes time for the NBA playoffs. So keeping and developing Jonathan Kuminga really feels paramount for Golden State for now and for later. Of course, you could involve him in a trade and expect to get a lot back and convince that acquiring organization that he's on this ascent and this upward trajectory. But I kind of like to see what that development looks like in-house with the Golden State Warriors. What's your outlook? What do you think Kaminga can become for the Golden State Warriors? Join the conversation down below in the comment section right now. We always love hearing from everybody. Chris Paul, could he go back to LA? Couple of teams reportedly interested in him this offseason, including the Los Angeles Lakers and the San Antonio Spurs. CP3 and Victor Wembanyama. We're going to discuss that more in detail coming up here just around the corner. Today's show, though, is sponsored by PrizePicks, the best daily fantasy sports app in the game. The NBA Finals, they mean more on PrizePicks. So do the star players. You get boosted payouts on select basketball stars that you won't find anywhere else. And when the finals are over, the hoops action doesn't stop on PrizePicks. Women's basketball, it's also getting underway with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Kelsey Plum, Breanna Stewart. You could win up to 100 times your cash watching them ball out. You pick 2 or more players, you choose more or less on the projected stats. Now, we do still have some NBA basketball to talk about. Finals getting underway on Thursday. PrizePicks with a couple of specials here. Jason Tatum, more than a half point in Game 1, Boston. Derek Lively, more than a half assist for the Mavs on the road. Daniel Gafford, more than 6 rebounds. I think you're stealing money if you go with those PrizePicks. Win big money, withdraw your winnings within the PrizePicks app. Pick more, pick less. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. What is Chris Paul's future? Mark Stein dropping some nuggets here. The Spurs and Lakers keep coming up as potential suitors for the Warriors' Chris Paul if Paul becomes a free agent this offseason. Paul's longstanding friendship with LeBron James and his well-known desire to stay as close to his LA-based family as possible certainly add credence to the notion of the Lakers signing him. Stein also mentioned that the Clippers are interested in a reunion. I think the only way that makes sense is if the Clippers do not retain James Harden. I don't see how you have a team with James Harden and Chris Paul and then Russell Westbrook in the mix too. It just doesn't make a lot of sense for me. Now, Chris Paul's contract becomes guaranteed on June 28th. So that is a date to remember for obviously the Warriors organization. They can't forget about it. And then for fans as well as you look and propel forward. Here's what Anthony Slater had to say about where the Warriors are with Chris Paul. All of Chris Paul's $30 million contract is guaranteed on that date. If both sides agree, it can be pushed back. From all indications, Paul has been extremely professional and willing to work with the Warriors through all of the possible options that may materialize with this flexible contract situation. I doubt Golden State is the team that pays him $30 million this upcoming year. He's just not worth it at this point. And if you could free up some of that money, my goodness, it just allows you to better improve your roster for a move that I was back and forth on, but at the end of the day, didn't really help you, didn't make a lot of sense. I think the Warriors should try to use that salary to move him and then accrue some assets. Chris Paul, if he goes to a different team and has more opportunities, I still think that he can play. 9 points per game last year, almost 7 assists, 44% from the field, almost 38% from 3. Those numbers will play, and he's still capable of putting up those numbers, but come on now. I think that he could put up even better numbers than that, even if you're a big Chris Paul detractor. And if you get rid of Chris Paul, what then happens? Brandon Podziemski can get some more time. And right now, Pods is getting blocked in the rotation by CP3. And I get it. You're pressured right now. You're trying to compete for an NBA championship. You really want to be able to maximize on Steph Curry's prime and try to get another Larry O.B. to the Bay Area. So when you have veterans, it makes that a little bit easier for that outlook. But you also have to think about the development of your young players. And you can't risk ruining their confidence, not letting them get on the floor, and stalling their development because you need players like that. So do you want Chris Paul on the Warriors next year? Y for yes, and for no. Once again, you can sound off with what you think. Now to the Ringer's new NBA mock draft. The Warriors are not going to select in the first round. They will select and are on the board in the second round, 52 overall. And who do the Warriors take? With the 52nd pick in the Ringer's latest mock draft, the Warriors select UCLA center Adem Bana. This pretty much is your Kevon Looney replacement. Kevon Looney's been the ultimate glue guy, the ultimate team player for Golden State. Very important to their championship success. Last year, though, looked a little bit slow. Looked as though the body breaking down a little bit. A lot of weight to carry, plus he had those injury issues going back to high school. The numbers last year, 12 points per game, 6 rebounds, almost 2 blocks per night, 59% from the field. Not a player who's going to shoot the three. Has limited touch for sure outside of that restricted area, but Kevon Looney didn't shoot the three. So this is a big body defender who can defend the pick and roll. That's important for bigs in today's NBA. If you get carved up, you're basically just a spinning chair. Highly physical rebounder. He runs the floor hard. He's a major lob threat. We've seen how the threat of the lob for Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving has taken that team to the next level. Steph Curry's worked on it at least a little bit. They've never really had, though, a great lob alongside Steph. Limited touch outside that restricted area, as I said. Just can't be trusted on the perimeter. But that's why you take him at 52. Name a player you want the Warriors to draft with that draft selection. Who is your guy? As you go down to the comment section to let us know. Make sure you subscribe to us here on Golden State Warriors Today. You look ahead to the end of this month. Draft right after that. Free agency. We're only getting started. We got bullets in the chamber. We're cooking up here on Warriors Today.